Survivor Guatemala was a collaboration between Caroline's Promise and WBFJ. We wanted to do something really special to recognize National Adoption Awareness Month. It actually was the idea was born in a Caroline's Promise board meeting, that we would give away a mission trip on the air. The person would get to join me, lucky them, on a mission trip to Guatemala. And we decided to go with the Survivor Guatemala theme because it's a lot easier to rip off a television show than come up with your own creative original idea. Back in November, we presented this contest to our listeners, and basically what we said was, send us your story about why you want to go on a mission trip with Tammy, that's me, from WBFJ, along with Caroline's Promise this summer to Guatemala. But the concept was cool because we had our listeners send us stories about why they wanted to go on this mission trip and why orphans and adoption was important to them. We had hundreds of entries come in from people who wanted to go. We narrowed that down to the 10 most compelling stories. And then we left it to our listeners. We created fictitious characters for each one of the entrants, and then our listeners got to go on and vote for who they wanted to see go on the trip. And then each day we would take the lowest vote getters, we would send them off with a lovely parting gift, and then keep going. The end of the first week, we had got it down to 2 finalists. Then our listeners had that weekend to finish up the voting. Well, over the course of this contest, we received over 17,000 votes for our qualifiers, which was, again, an overwhelming response. Monday, we announced that the grand prize winner was a gentleman named Dean Culler. That's his real name. His fake name was Gary Goatee. But Dean Culler won. Dean got over 7,000 votes over the course of the competition. Now, Dean and his wife have 3 biological children, and their story is that they were in the process of adopting a child from Guatemala, but God had different plans for them, and He actually gave them a newborn baby to adopt from here in the States. It was a newborn, but Dean's heart for orphans in Guatemala never changed. He still had that passion. So it's great that he's going to be able to go on this trip. It's great that he's going to be able to love on. A big thank you to Caroline's Promise for allowing us to help with this, and also a big thank you to Rob Mitchell, the author of the book Castaway Kid, who actually sponsored this contest and made it possible for these 2 nonprofit organizations to give away this amazing prize and this amazing trip. And I'm really looking forward to the mission trip in July and just seeing how Dean is touched and how God just really shows so much of Himself during this trip. I know it's going to be a wonderful time.